Sometimes people start hanging around the car, like they get really into it. I'll wind the window down, and they as they're walking out, they'll hear me doing it, and they'll start looking in through the windows. It's like a knowledgeable version of dogging. I swear I left her down by the river. He loves this girl, but you don't know whether she's a part of it. And he did leave her down by the river, but I don't know whether she wanted to be at the river. Hello and welcome to Driving with Goldbridge, I suppose, on this show. It is another episode. I hope everyone's doing very well. I've got to say, I do enjoy a good old drive, and as I've seen before, I think it's just good for me. It's good for me, and it's good for the environment. I get some fresh air if I put the window down, and, you know, it's good for the car to get it running around. So I think it's a win-win for everybody, and just does relax me a lot. So yeah, lots. I brought a packed lunch for me today as well. Eating with Goldbridge. I'll try not to make it too messy, but I have got my bottle of water with me. Now I'm gonna use John, but it isn't John, but we'll use John on this story. So this story basically goes like this. This person I know, who's not John, but we'll pretend it is John, because I can't really expose who it is without them knowing who it is. They might figure it out anyway, but I'll just deny it. Just deny it. Which reminds me of another story. I don't know whether I should tell it because I'll get in trouble. I'll get in trouble. No, I'm not. I might tell it in a bit. I'll get in trouble if I tell it though. But this one I will tell you. So this person who's not John, who is John, right? I'm pretending it's John. I think we've established that, but it's not John. So this person, John, always carries a bottle of water with them. I have got a bottle of water with me because I'm checking my mirrors. I have got a bottle of water with me because I'm going to have something to eat, and I like to cleanse my palate afterwards. I'm not going to give away what I've got because that's a spoiler, but I will need some water after it. And so I have got a bottle of water with me. I don't have a bottle with me all the time. This person, John, always has a bottle of water with them, right? So about a year ago, I said to this person, why have you always got a bottle of water with you? You know, some people have a phone with them, some people wear a hat. I know you for always, you know, if people said to me, and it's not John as we know, but if somebody said to me, what's the distinguishing factor of John? He's always got a bottle of water with him, which I think is a bit weird. Well, they were a little bit offended, and they went, you know why I carry a bottle of water? I said, why? They said, because I've got a fear of choking, and if I have a bottle of water with me and I'm ever choking, then it's a security blanket. And I went, and I thought it through for a moment, and I said, but you do realise that you're missing a key point here. And they were like, what? And I said, and I sort of regret going through it because I actually over time made them more scared, but I just felt like being honest. And I said, well, having a bottle of water is great if you start choking, but if you start choking, say you've had, I don't know, a jawbreaker or a Malteser, and you accidentally laugh at one of my jokes, which, to be honest, people do quite regularly, you inhale the Malteser, it gets stuck in your throat. Now, a bottle of water might be quite useful to wash it down, but you're forgetting the fight or flight syndrome. And they were like, what's that then? They said, well, you might have a bottle of water, but if you start choking, then you will forget about that bottle of water if you are a flighter. And they were like, what is a flighter? And I said, well, a flighter is somebody who in a dangerous situation runs away. It's not cowardly, it's a medical syndrome. Oh, look, the road's closed. It's a medical syndrome. And it's all right, I know another way. It's a medical syndrome. So if a burglar's in your house, or somebody tries to nick your the parking space, you will either let them have it or you will jump in the way. Or if a burglar's in your house, you might confront them or you will run and hide. It's fight or flight. You know, Tyson Fury probably is a fighter because he is a fighter, but he might also run away. It's ingrained in them. Well, this didn't go down well because they were like, well, you know, I don't want to choke, and that's what my bottle of water's for. And I said, well, if you're a flighter, what'll happen is you'll start choking on that Malteser, and your only chance is that it dissolves. And that could take a little bit of time, because that bottle of water, that may as well be something not there. It may as well be an invisible bottle of water, because you won't use it if you're scared. You'll just start panicking. I'm choking, and you'll waste your energy, and then you'll pass out. And hopefully somebody will save you, but your bottle of water won't. So anyway, they sort of went quiet after that. We didn't speak for a while, and then we were at another, I nearly gave it away what it was then. We were at another thing where we were in the same place, and they came up to me and they said, you know what I've been doing for the last 6 months? And I said, what? I said, I've been doing kickboxing. I says, oh right, why's that? Well, you know, it really bothered me for a long time. It's been keeping me up awake at night for a long time. I felt bad about being a flighter and not a fighter. So I've been doing, you know, yoga and, you know, kickboxing and things like this, trying to get myself mentally strong. I was like, that's really good, that is. You still got your bottle of water, I see. Yep. I said, well, you know what? It's the old Tyson Fury syndrome, innit? And he was like, what are you on about? I said, well, Tyson Fury is one of the best fighters in the world. And he probably is a fighter. But I tell you what, if he was in a bad situation, he might be a flighter. He might run. You can't necessarily train yourself. Well, my instructor said you can. Well, yeah, your instructor's more interested in your bank details than telling you the truth, I would argue. Anyway, I said, that's fine. You know what? That bottle of water might be useful now. You might be choking on that Malteser, and you know, because you've been doing all this kickboxing, you've got a strong mental attitude, and when you start choking, you won't panic. You'll just be calm, drink the bottle of water and wash it down, and everything will be fine. And he was like, good. And I said, but on the other hand, maybe not. He was like, all right. Anyway, it played on my mind, and I said, do you know, in light of all this activity you're doing, do you fancy a game of badminton on Wednesday? And he was like, yes, I'd love one. So picked him up on the Wednesday, and we're on the way to the badminton, and he talking to me about probably football, because he is a big fan of the Villa, and we were probably talking about Jack Grealish or something like that. And suddenly I said, shit, the brakes aren't working, I can't stop the car. And we were heading towards a busy junction. Well, he absolutely shit himself. And as we just before we hit the junction, I did slam on the brakes very hard and laughed. And he said, what are you doing? I said, well, all that kickboxing training and all that, you know, you're a fighter, not a flighter. You're still a flighter. But the funny thing was, he was actually drinking his bottle of water at the time and started choking on his water. But my point was proven, that fight or flight, that bottle of water is a waste of time. Hello everybody, well, I've got my lunch, as I said I would, and it's a little treat. It's a nice treat for me, this actually. Every month or so, I like to head over to the business park with my Who Wants to Be a Millionaire book and my hummus, with my little bit, it has fallen over a little bit, it's a mess now, but a little bit of hummus and my carrot sticks, and just relax. A nice relaxing lunch, away from the hustle and bustle. Got my bottle of water as well, in case I choke on my carrots. I'm a fighter, not a flighter. If you know, you know. But yeah, you can see a lot of things around here as well. You've got trees for wildlife. You've got Carphone Warehouse for phones. Carpet Right, Halfords. I think there's a Starbucks behind me. You've got everything you want. Everything you want. Homemade hummus as well. Homemade hummus. As I said, in the driving it's all mixed up, but got some red cabbage in there as well. Look, I love red cabbage. I won't eat and talk, but that'll be my reward in a minute, because we're going to play a bit of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. But I do love red cabbage. I love red cabbage. I love red cabbage, but I love red pepper. I don't like green pepper, and yellow pepper's a bit middle of the road. But that's fine. You can you can dislike a coloured pepper. There's nothing wrong with that. Although, who knows in future? Maybe that would be pepperist. I don't know. But I do like red pepper. I don't like green pepper. Sorry, I just had to cut off there. Somebody was just asking me where the Carphone Warehouse is. It's literally just in front of me. It is a smaller sign than Curry's, but it's literally right in front of you, mate. And if you turn I actually did say, if you turn your head literally 5 meters to the right, you'll see it. I don't actually know how you get in it though, because that's the exit. I think it's actually part of Curry's PC World. Yeah, just go in there. But yeah, I do love red pepper. I don't like green pepper, which is fine. You know, you can, at this moment in time, in this world that we live in, you can discriminate against green pepper if you don't like it, and if you prefer red pepper. You can never do that against people. That's racist, and you should never do that. But yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Dislikes and likes. There are rules. One's about vegetables. It's about something that you want to put in your mouth. With people, it's not about putting it in your mouth. Unless you want to. Anyway, on to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. We're going to play a bit of Who Wants. This is what I do. I drive out to the business park with my hummus. It's not always hummus. Sometimes I'll just have a sandwich, but soup doesn't work because you have to bring a spoon. It might get cool. It is about a 20-minute drive to this business park. I particularly like this business park, as I say, because it's got everything you need. There is actually a B&Q behind me as well. Some of them have shut down. Dream's the bed specialist. I'm not really into buying beds. You know, you need one of them. Yeah, so look, we're going to play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. This is my book. So I'll just sit and play this for about 20 minutes normally. And there's a couple of people in masks on their phone looking over at me. They better not know who I am. So we're not going to play Fastest Finger first. Played that last night. No, I'm joking. We're going to play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So basically what happens in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire is you get 100. You start off on £100 question. So I've done the first few pages. So I'm going to start off on question 16, and we'll do question 16 on every one. So for £100, complete the title of the Australian soap Home and A, away, B, hooray, C, delay, D, good day. I tell you what, I'd be like, Clarkson, shut up, it's away. I don't even need to check the answer on that one. It's a piece of piss. So we've won £100. Question 16 for £200 is, I'll get to £1,000 a piece of piss. What describes the Wall Street area of New York? Financial, A, fashion, B, C, media, or D, entertainment? Well, it's financial, A. Don't even need to check the answer. I'm right again, Jeremy. On to question 3, which is for £300. For £300, question 16. What are manufactured by the US company Hasbro? Is it A, fragrances, B, toys, C, computers, or D, cars? You know, if they put sweets there, I might have worried, but that's Haribo. It's definitely Hasbro. Well, it's toys. Yeah, I was thinking about cars because they're toys, but it's definitely toys. So I don't even need to check that. Question 16 for £500. I'm blitzing here. I don't even want the £500. It's not life-changing. What is the traditional drink on Burns night for £500? A, gin, B, whiskey, C, rum, or D, vodka? I think it is whiskey because it's Scottish. I'm going to double check though. I don't need to ask the audience, and I don't need you can do ask the audience in here, and you can do this is good fun. Turn to page 301 to see if you've won £500. Or imagine if you found £500 on that page. B. Yes, £500 won. So we're on for £1,000 now, which I always get to. Very easy for someone like me. Only thickos don't get £1,000 on Millionaire. A ship's sails are usually made from which fabric? A, canvas, B, felt, C, hessian, or D, cashmere? Well, if it's made out of cashmere, that boat's going bankrupt because it's bloody expensive. I tell you what, a proper cashmere jumper at Marks and Spencer, at John Lewis, will set you back 150 quid. Well, a jumper, you'd probably need 1,000 jumpers to make a sail. So I'm going to say it's got to be A. Felt would never work. Hessian, I don't know what that is. Isn't that a chef, or is that Heston? I'm going to go A, canvas. So what page do I need to go to? 301, 16. It's A, canvas. Now it gets interesting. We've won 1,000. We're now heading towards 2,000. Diddle-diddle-diddle. Oh, for fuck's sake. What kind of transport is a Cessna? I'm probably even pronouncing it wrong. C-E-S-S-N-A. What kind of transport is a Cessna? Is it an aeroplane, a car, a motorcycle, or a train? Well, you know what? This would happen when I'm filming myself. I haven't got a bloody clue. I always get to about 32 grand. I haven't got a bloody clue. I haven't even got a hunch. You'll be shouting at the screen saying a Cessna. I've never heard of it. I'm tempted to think it's a car, but I've got no idea. There's a car going past, actually. Mate, he's got glasses on. What's a Cessna? Not looking. I'm going to have to go 50-50. Oh, no, I'm going to ask the audience. 286. 286. You lot, I can't ask you lot because this is not live, unfortunately. 286. So, we asked the audience on this question. It's question 16 of 2,000. They've gone 89% with A, which is an aeroplane. Well, I tell you what, when you've got 89% of the world behind you. I'm going to go with A. Question 16, 2,000. It's right, but I've used Ask the Audience. So I'm on £2,000. Let's see the question for £4,000. You can imagine me doing this once a month. I'm sometimes here for hours. Make sure I've turned the lights off. Could flatten my battery. Question 16 for £4,000. Which of these is a salary or allowance paid to a clergyman? Oh, for what? Who's writing these questions? It doesn't even make sense. Which of these is a salary or allowance paid to a clergyman? Well, what's a clergyman? Is it A, a surplice, B, a diocese, C, a stipend, or D, a curate? Well, I don't know. Clergyman sounds like it's a man of the cloth, and diocese is something to do with religion, I think. So I think it's B. But yet again, I'm going to have to use one of my lifelines. I'm going to have to go 50-50. 267. Having a bloody laugh here. It's embarrassing. I normally... Oh, every time I'm going to refilm it. 267. 16. Options remaining are B and C. Well, that helps, because that's... Oh, no, diocese is still there. So, which of these is a salary or allowance paid to a clergyman? It's going to be B, diocese, or C, a stipend. I thought diocese. I'm going to go with that. So, 16. It's nervy times here. Sometimes people start hanging around the car, like they get really into it. I'll wind the window down, and they as they're walking out, they'll hear me doing it, and they'll start looking in through the windows. It's like a knowledgeable version of dogging. They're keeping an eye on what's going on. So 16, wasn't it? Question 16. The answer is C. Stipend. Piss off. Bell end. It is. It's C. For £4,000. C. Stipend. Bloody hell. I'm going home with 1,000. That's never happened before. I'm very good at Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I'm not happy now. I'm not happy at all. Go back to what's going on in the car. Get out. That's ruined it. Where's my hummus? Tell me something, girl. Are you tired of this modern world? Or do you need more? Ain't it hard keeping it so hardcore? I'm falling. And in the good times I feel myself longing for change. And in the bad times I feel myself. I'm off the deep end, watch as I drive in. I'll never reach the ground. Crash through the surface where they can hurt us. We're far from the shallow now. I've literally just gone and done what I was moaning about before. I'm at the junction, there's a car coming, I've thought about going, I really probably think he's going to have to slow down, and then I've done it anyway. Contradiction, Bridge. I'm moaning at myself. Yeah, selfish shit, he's had to slow... It wasn't I'm not talking about a dangerous pull out here. It's not like having sex without a condom, you know, he's not going to get pregnant, but what I've basically done is, he's probably doing 40 miles an hour. He's had to slow down to about 35, which will annoy him. Actually, it's a she. I think it's a she. Could be Edison Cavani. He's got long hair. Could be Brian May. But I think it is a woman. In which case, I feel even more guilty. But we live in a diverse society now. You can't differentiate. That's actually sexist in a reverse way. If I feel sorry for pulling out in front of a woman, is that not being, you know, sympathetic to women drivers? They don't need our sympathy. I'll tell you what, women drivers are as bad as men. Some people say the other way around. That's sexist. But he's got his bottle of cider walking down the road. Be a little bit more discreet, mate. Walking down the road with a bottle of cider. Nothing screams, well, alcoholic, I suppose, but I don't think he was an alcoholic. He was, he just looked, what's that word that starts with ch and ends with av? Can't think what it is, but yeah, nothing screams lack of class like walking down a road at 1:30 in the afternoon in a nice area with a hoodie, crap trainers, and a bottle of Strongbow, and and a big bottle of Strongbow as well. But yes, there are women out there that are very aggressive drivers. This is a true story as well. I'll remove people from the conflict of the arena of conflict, but this is a true story. I was driving home once from collecting the kids from school, and funnily enough, it's another bloody roundabout. May as well call this roundabouts with Goldbridge. It's another roundabout, and it's a mini roundabout. To be fair, you could technically say I was in the wrong, but that never happens, obviously. So I'm terrible at being in the wrong, as many people will confirm. I don't like being in the wrong, although I will accept it after hours of deliberation, but and stubbornness. But anyway, we're approaching this mini roundabout, and as we hit this mini roundabout, I sort of looked to my right and there was nothing coming. A bit of a blind spot, to be fair, because there's a house on the corner with a big hedge, but I approached it, I'd slowed down, couldn't see anything coming, started to go. It wasn't a smooth movement. It wasn't like I was gambling, there's nothing there. I actually had slowed down, started to go. As I started to go, this woman in a car, she had to be in a car. She can't be just a woman running up at like, I'm a pretend car, I'm a woman, I'm a pretend car. So she's in a car, and she's not slowed down. She's looked right, but she hasn't bothered to look left, because ultimately the person on the right always gets the right of way. But it's a dangerous roundabout, so you should also look left, because somebody like me might have just started to go because they can't see you coming and you've approached it too fast. She starts going, I slam my brakes on. She gives me the V. I mean, to be honest, she's creative. I've got to say, she's creative. Not only is she driving too fast into a mini roundabout, she's also very, very inept at getting her finger out and sticking it at me through the window. So I picked at her and said, obscenity, probably the F word, and it wasn't for God's sake. And she gets out of a bloody car and comes up to the window, and I'm like, oh my God, I've got kids in the back. She didn't. Anyway, she comes up to the window, effing and jeffing, and she's going bloody ape shit, like she's going absolutely crazy. So I wound the window down and I just said, do yourself a favour. I didn't add love on it, because that's massively condescending and sexist. I said, do yourself a favour. I've got kids in the back of my car. I'm not getting into an argument about something as trivial as this. Do yourself a favour, go get back in your car and get on with your day. I did say it in quite a condescending way, but there was no swear words and there was no sexism, because that's not me. And swear words are. But anyway, she goes and gets back in her car, and I thought, I've actually won that in a condescending, nice way. I've finished her. It was like a Mortal Kombat finishing move. It was perfect. She wasn't happy, but I think she saw the kids in the back of the car and she thought, yeah, he's sat me down with cynical politeness. Why don't you do yourself a favour? No one wants to get into an argument. Go and get back in your car. I think I might have had a jog on as well, but that would probably be quite what's the word? That's only going to make things worse, isn't it? So yeah, that did happen. And the next thing I know is we're just about to start going, and she slams her brakes on. And here we go. She slams her brakes on, and I've just started to go. Basically, it was a deliberate move to cause a crash. I couldn't believe it. She was so angry about my cynical put down that she decided to cause a car crash. So basically what happens is she goes into I'm in completely the wrong area. I'm going to have to do a roundabout myself here. She goes, oh God, I've done it again. I've told her to go back to her car. optional jog if you want, jog on. You know, I'm only thinking of her exercise. She could do with some. No, she wasn't. She was fine. There was nothing. Even if she did need exercise, that's a silly comment. But I basically said to her, you know, optional jog on your way, which is obviously wound her up a little bit. I can almost see the steam coming from her ears. But she takes it from level 1 to level 5. You know, she starts going in her car, I start to go, and she stops her car. I slam my brakes on, but actually connect with the back of her car. And I'm like, I cannot believe it. I even turned around to the kids who at that age would not have any idea about what was going on. And I was like, I cannot believe what she's done. I can't believe what she's done. Anyway, I go to get out of the car and she speeds off. I'm like, you've just damaged your own car potentially and mine to prove a point. Just because I told you to go and sit back in your car and sit down in a nice, condescending way. Now, that's a true story. Anyway, there was no damage to my car and there was no damage first. I did follow her for a little bit. When she drove off, I was like, I'm not having this, because if there's damage to my car, I need to get her registration. And I actually didn't have my glasses on, so I was having to, I couldn't tell whether it was an F or a P. So I had to get a little bit close. I'm joking. I wasn't trying to get the registration. I was sort of following, you know, like a lot of drivers will relate to this. Like if something goes on and someone really pisses you off, you sort of do follow them a bit. You think you're Magnum PI or something like that, or the Dukes of Hazzard. And I did follow for a little bit, but I then realised, even though I was trying to follow and probably make them think that I was going to follow them all the way home, I actually then realised after I calmed down a bit that we were actually heading on the same route. And then I started to feel a bit bad because I didn't want her to think I was stalking her or anything like that. So I ended up going a long way home because I didn't want her to think every junction back to my house she was going. And then I panicked and thought, is it a neighbour? But it wasn't. It wasn't. I didn't recognise the car. I never saw them again. But look, it just shows you what people can do. Even when you don't swear and wind them up in that way, you can just literally say, why don't you go do yourself a favour, go back to your car, jog on and sit down. And she got so angry that she slammed her brakes on purposely and made me go into the back of her. Which is not an analogy for anything else that happened, by the way. So there we go. You've had, it's like this is your life with Goldbridge. We're having trips down memory lane, or drives down memory lane. We are heading towards, hopefully in the UK, we are heading towards a time where we can start getting out and about again, which I think is really important. Hopefully the pubs will be open in June. And social media is awash with all these things that people want to do in June. Oh, the lads down the pub in June. Oh, it'll be nice to meet up for a bottle of wine in June. It'd be nice to eat. It might be nice to meet up for a bottle of wine with June, but that's still to come in September. Oh, June. Well, it could be September. God knows when it'll happen. But we're heading out, and look, the weather's nice today as well. You know, you might see me with some shades on in a minute, and I'm getting very hot in this jumper and jacket, to be fair. But I'm not really adjusting well to the change in temperature, but it is quite mild. And these mild days do make you think of beer gardens and pubs. I just look forward to being in the pub. You know what I miss in a pub? Jukebox. I'm looking for the hat trick. Looking for my hat trick. And when I say hat trick, there's been 2 occasions in my life when I've actually caused people to walk out of a pub because of my choice on jukebox. And this is true. This is true. And I'm going to try and do the hat trick when we're back in pubs. I mean, do they still have jukeboxes in pubs? I would hope they do. I always used to like the jukebox. Like when I was younger, going down the local pub playing pool, they used to have a jukebox. You put a bit of Stone Roses, made of Stone on, bit of Oasis. Mad for it. Smoking my Bennos, my pint of Red Stripe. Loved it. But no, I have emptied a pub a couple of times. The Hairy Lemon, you might have heard this before, the Hairy Lemon in Dublin, which is just at the top at Stephen's Green, about a couple of minutes away from there. Was in there one afternoon having a few pints and on the jukebox, and I just saw a song that I used to always like, and I put it on, and people did get up and walk out, which I was proud of. Like the lads I was with were quite embarrassed, but I was actually quite proud of it. And the song was Richard Marx Hazard. I swear I left her down by the river I swear I left her safe and sound. I need to make it down by the river. And something else happened. I don't think he did leave it. I think he left her down. But to be honest with you, watch it back. You know, it's very rarely that a song is basically a murder mystery in 3 minutes. I mean, it's a very compact version of Midsummer Murders. He loves this girl, but you don't know whether she's a part of it. And he did leave her down by the river, but I don't know whether she wanted to be at the river. He could be a stalker. He could be framed. It's a great song to listen to. But anyway, 2 people did get up and walk out. And you know what? It wasn't that they were like last sip of their pint. There was a good quarter of it left, and they just said, "That's it, I'm off." So they went. And then the second time was also in Dublin. I think it was in the Clarendon pub, which is not far away from there. And we'd been out on the Pop the night before. Pop is booze, and they we were only going for a pint. It was sort of like a vibe. We'd all been out the night before and stayed over at a lad's house. There was a few girls there as well. It wasn't that sort of thing. And we just went into town, got a McDonald's, and I think someone said, "Should we just go for a pint before we get the trains home and buses and everything?" And everyone went, "Yeah." Anyway, it turned into another night out, even though it started at about 2. But it was about 2 o'clock in this pub, and we were having a good time. So it was like, get on the jukebox, and they. At that time on an afternoon, there's always people in the pubs in Dublin. Well, not at the moment. They're all shut because of lockdown. And they... I don't really know where I am. There was a few old boys at the bar. I say old boys. Could have been in their 30s then, because I would have been in my early 20s. And I started putting Backstreet Boys on. They didn't walk out. They basically said, if you don't stop doing it, you're going to walk out. And I wasn't going to walk out. They were going to chuck me out. And I just thought, you know what? Being English in Ireland, I don't want to get into an argument with people who are older than me. You know, God knows what connections they could have. So I just said, what would you like on it? And I just put some Shane MacGowan on. It was Christmas Eve, babe. Which they, you know, Irish people will agree with me on this. Fairy Tale of New York is a very good Christmas song by Shane MacGowan that we listen to in Christmas in the UK. But in Ireland, it was weird when I first went over to Ireland, because in nightclubs in Ireland at the end of the night, they'll often put Fairy Tale of New York on. And you'll be like, we're all wearing t-shirts, it's the middle of June. And they will put it on. So, yeah, that's it. So when I'm back in the pubs in June, watch out. I might walk in and try and kick you out with a crappy song on the jukebox. Basically just anything by Ronan Keating will work. I've got a Land Rover right up my arse at the moment. Massive old shit Land Rover with some guy who probably kills his own chickens every night right up my backside. If he wants to take over, he can do. I'm doing a steady 40 and a 50, and I won't be intimidated by a farmer. I never have been, and I never will be. So go and count your cows.